Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk sports, fantasy sports, with you, cowboy. Huge day in sports today. I mean, the news just doesn't stop. I don't know if you guys are watching, but we got Olympics, we got football, we got baseball, we got basketball, we got you name it. There's sports out there, and people are talking about it. We're going to go over it with you right now. If you have questions, please type it right now in the YouTube page, and I'll read it and I'll answer it. I want to talk fantasy football. I love fantasy football. It's starting up again. I just got a bunch of draft notices. I'm starting to draft. I'm starting to do our analysis and our network on all the positions. And we also have a website coming out that's gonna tell where we stand on each player. So please subscribe, like this, watch it, share it, do whatever you want with it. But you know what? It's going to be a great football season. I'm excited to talk about it. And let's talk football to start. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. He arrived in Green Bay, shades on, man bun, wearing the Office shirt, Kevin Malone's chili. We actually interviewed Brian Baumgartner, who plays Kevin Malone, in The Office. That's on our website right now. You can listen to our conversation. We talked about Aaron Rodgers, what good friends they are. And Aaron even wore their shirt today to show up to camp, which is unbelievable. But Aaron's there. He knew he didn't really have much leverage, but he did get a new contract, which states he just has one more year left. I don't know if you guys remember this. Him and Devontae Adams did a picture of Jordan and Pippen, the same picture from The Last Dance. Basically, they were saying this is the last year they'll be playing in Green Bay together. So this is the last dance. That's what the picture meant, and that's what I thought it meant. But they just clarified it more, and it totally makes sense. So Aaron Rodgers is there, which means for Green Bay, they'll have their whole team there. Aaron Jones will be good. Devontae Adams, all these Green Bay guys, their value in fantasy would be terrific this year. We'll talk about it a little later. But Aaron Rodgers is in camp. The real reason he's in camp is because all the money that's involved. I mean, he's going to make like $20-something million. And if he didn't show up, he's going to get fined and not make $20-something million. So he did the best next thing. He signed, he did his deal. He has 1 year left, free agent next year. And both sides are happy. They can have the Jordan Love, can start for them next year. And Aaron Rodgers can probably go to, let's say, Denver, which I think is a good fit for him. Because they have some great receivers and a good offensive line. But we'll see what happens. So Aaron Rodgers is the number one story right now. Another big story is Simone Biles, the gymnast. Let me just give you the facts. This is what I know. Again, I haven't talked to her. She hasn't done any really press things yet. She was warming up for the team competition. She wasn't hitting her marks. She was falling off the balance beam. She was doing horrible in the warm-ups. And she realized that this is not my day. And I've been there before. Ross the Boss has been in those situations in sporting events where I didn't want to play, but I did it anyway. But she's big stage. And you remember, this girl mentally, if this is, you're performing in front of millions of people. I mean, this isn't a joke. You're not performing in front of 200 people. This is, world stage. Been training your whole life for the Olympics. I know this is her second Olympics. I get all that, or maybe her third Olympics. I understand all that. But what I'm saying is this. Mentally, she wasn't there. And she just said, you know what? I don't want to compete. And I don't want to judge her. I don't want to say, oh, she let down her country. You're not her. I mean, the thing about her is this. Mentally, she has to be there. These gymnasts, there's so much pressure on you to nail your jumps, to do flips, do all this crazy stuff that's like a very small percentage of humans can do. This girl's doing it. And all being said, I don't blame her. I felt bad, and I'm not going to say, oh, she let down the country. No, she didn't feel it, and she in the U.S. got silver, and because she didn't compete, and she just mentally she wasn't there. So that's what I know. She'll probably talk more about it, but if I had to clarify it, I would just say she was warming up. The warm-ups were awful. She was afraid to fail, and she quit. That's the story. You can twist it any way you want, but that's the truth. So I'm just going through Ross's news. I don't have any just look at the stories and I can tell you what's going on. Ovechkin, the unbelievable forward for the Washington Capitals, signed a 5-year. He's like almost 37, 38 years old. He's one of the best players ever. 5-year, $47 million contract with the Capitals. And he's like, he should retire, but he's playing more. Unbelievable. Great story. Baseball really quick. Max Scherzer, Double Rays are in big talks. They want to trade for Max. They really want to make that run, the Double Rays. They made the World Series last year. Who knows if they can make it this year? They're in first place. They were like a couple games short last year against the Dodgers. I think if Tampa Bay can get Max Scherzer, that would be unbelievable. And they actually just traded Rich Hill, their starter, recently, to make room for Max in the starting rotation. So that could be huge. We'll see what happens. Max has a no trade clause. He said, yes, I'll go to Tampa Bay. I want to be in the playoffs. But we'll see a lot more trades. Adam Frazier was traded from Pittsburgh to San Diego. He's leading the league in hits. And all of a sudden, it made sense. I mean, Pittsburgh's not going anywhere, the worst team in the league. But that all being said, I understand why the Padres want him. He's a super utility guy. He can play any position, actually, outfield, infield. He's unbelievable. So San Diego did a smart thing. They got a super utility guy. He can play second. He can play anywhere. I mean, now in San Diego, their whole infield, except catcher, are all all-stars. Machado, Tatis, Cromsworth, it's unbelievable. They're all all-stars. Their whole infield now with Frazier. So watch out, Padre fans. You guys might be in the World Series. We'll see what happens. You guys have good pitching, too. And you have the save leader in the National League with Mark McComb, too. It's unbelievable. So that being said, Max Scherzer could be on the move to Tampa. We'll see what happens. I'm listening at stories. NBA draft, first round. It's coming up. It's Thursday. What's his name? Can Cunningham is supposed to be the number one pick. Detroit has the number one pick. Cunningham signed this huge deal with Nike. Detroit, they might trade that pick. They're not sold on Cunningham. I mean, this is the guy, the Oklahoma State, unbelievable player. He's not going to wow you with like dunks. He's more of like a finesse player, shoots him outside. He's a really, really good player. Really, really good. Is he like Michael Jordan or is he that? No, he's not that level. But he'll make your team a lot better. But Detroit, they're not sold on him. There's a few other guys. Green, I know they might get, but who knows? But I think Cunningham's the pick to get. I like the NBA draft. I enjoy watching it. I feel that this year the talent is not great like it was last year, but there are some good players. We'll see what happens. There'll be a lot of trades. A lot of NBA trades. A lot of trades will happen during draft day. Is Kawhi going to sign with the Clippers? I don't know. He has an out to get out of the contract if he wants. He can go someplace else. I mean, there's a lot of talk, a lot of NBA talk. We'll go back to it. We'll talk about it. Let's see. Women's soccer. We actually tied today 0-0 with Australia, the soccer team. Let's see what other news is going on. Women's basketball, we won our 50th game in a row, the women's team. Bravo, young ladies. That's unbelievable. They've won 50 games in a row in the Olympics. I watched a little of the game last night against Nigeria. We were losing the first quarter. Starting the second quarter, we were losing. Came back. We won by like 9 points. It's like an all-star team. I mean, our team, it's like, we have like unbelievable players. They look great. I don't see them losing. They'll just get better and better the more time they spend together playing. I like watching the women's team a lot. Men's team, I know they lost. He lost to France. They're playing Iran today, 12:30 Pacific time tonight, which is really late back east. Excuse me. It's 10:30 my time, so it's like 1:30 your time in back east if you're watching it. But long story short, they play Iran. I don't see us losing to Iran. My prediction is we'll win the rest. We'll beat. Then we play the Czech Republic. We'll beat them. I think the U.S. will win the rest of their games, and I think they'll win the gold medal. You might think I'm crazy, but that's Ross the Boss for you. I predict it. I'll take the U.S. I think they'll get their act together. Just a matter of time. Popovich will figure it out. Best coach in the NBA. He'll figure this thing out. He's too good. Come on. So let's take the U.S. to win the gold medal. See what else. A great story is that Lydia Jacoby she won the breaststroke last night. She's 17 years old. She's from Sword, Alaska. 3,000 people live in Sword, Alaska. There's only one 50-meter pool in Alaska alone, and she lives like 200 miles from it. Somehow this girl won the breaststroke in the Olympics from Alaska, where it's cold, really, really cold, and not really known for swimmers. Great story. I mean, right now that's one of my favorite stories in the Olympics. There'll be more. Trust me, there'll be more stories. There's always some great stories in the Olympics, but I like her. She's very innocent, 17 years old. She beat the world yesterday. She even beat the girl who won it last Olympics. Great story. Bravo, young lady. Keep it up. Let's talk. Let me see. I'm looking at the things. There's been, as I mentioned, there'll be some NBA movement in the next couple of days. You'll be seeing some more trades. Here's some top 10 candidates that could be traded by Thursday. Let's just go through real quick. Kevin Love. I don't think anybody wants him. He's old. He should retire. Tyler Hero. You know how old Tyler Hero is? He averaged 15 points last year. He was hurt. He didn't play. His season wasn't that great just because he was hurt a lot. But when he plays, he's great. He's only 21 years old. He might be dealt. We'll see what happens. Damian Lillard. Always rumors on him about being dealt. Golden State wants him. The Lakers will love to have him. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that want him. Kyle Kuzma. He's not going to be a Laker next year. Porzingis for the Dallas. He's gone. Kemba Walker of the Celtics, I think he'll be traded. Bradley Beal, great player. I think Washington will trade him and get draft picks. They know they can't win with the team they have. Beal is a lot of trade bait. They can get a lot for him. I think if I had to say the Lakers, I think every player in the league has been talked about going to the Lakers. I mean, it could be like a 25-man roster with the Lakers right now. It's unbelievable. I really feel that they're going to improve. LeBron doesn't like to lose, and he knows what he needs. He knows he needs a point guard. He knows he needs a better bench, and that's what LeBron's going to do. So Bradley Beal, yes, he'll be traded. Colin Sexton of the Cavs, he wants out of there. James Wiseman, I like Wiseman. He was a rookie last year for Golden State. University of Memphis, during school he got something happened and he couldn't play the rest of the season with his recruiting. Long story short, he's not a good fit at Golden State. Great player, not the right guy at Golden State, so he could be traded pretty quick. We'll see what happens. I like him though. The number one guy, Ben Simmons, he's not returning the calls of the Sixers. He told the Sixers are calling him saying, "Hey, we might trade you." He's not even taking the call. He knows he's being traded. He knows he's out of there. It'd be interesting where Ben Simmons goes. He did not play well in the playoffs, but I know he's a good player. I feel we'll see him. I feel he's only 25 years old too, which is unbelievable. I always feel he's older. But he's Australian. I feel he'll be gone. And those are the guys that you'll be gone in the NBA in the next few weeks. We'll see what happens. The Texans, they'll be the worst team in the NFL. I mean, they used to be the Lions. I think the Texans, Watson's going to be traded. Texans said yesterday, we know we have to trade Watson. They were in denial for a long time. Now they're going to trade him. More women are coming out saying the whole massage thing. I don't know if it's true. I don't want to say anything bad because I always want that person to have their day in court. So many people have the press loves to bury people, I mean, they hear just one side and all of a sudden that person should be in jail. I always feel we should give the other person a day in court to say their side of the story. I know there's a lot of women that came out of the woodwork on Deshaun Watson. I get it. And you're probably saying, Ross, this guy, he's a predator, whatever. But I want to hear the whole story. It's you always hear about the bad things. I want to hear everything that's going on. And again, I feel bad for him. Let's see what else is going on in sports. I'm checking everything out. Luka Doncic, unbelievable first game for Slovenia, 48 points. What I noticed also in the Olympics with basketball, tell me if I'm right or wrong. You can say this in the comments. I feel like these guys that play for their countries like Luka and all these guys, I just feel there's so much pride when they're playing for their country. I just feel like they take it up a level. I mean, I really do. When I feel like they're playing way out of their skin, like when they play in the NBA. And I feel our players, even though I think we'll win the gold medal, but our players, I don't feel that same enthusiasm. I don't feel what they're out there thinking they're playing for the United States. I feel they're just playing for themselves. I don't feel it's team play. I feel the Olympics is a whole different game. In the NBA, I feel now it's just about shooting the 3-pointer. Don't make picks. Don't do anything to set your players up. But God forbid. But it's all about hitting the 3-pointer, which ruined the NBA. It really did. I mean, I miss the days when there were pick and rolls and Kareem with the sky hooks and people would work the ball inside. Now it's all about the outside shot. It's all about James Harden, dribbling around the court, getting a pick and shooting the 3. Tell me what you think. I mean, I just feel the enthusiasm. I think the girls have it. I think the women team definitely has it. I just don't think the men team is playing for the United States. I think they're playing for themselves. And I watched the other teams play. I watched the other countries play, and these guys are unbelievable. I mean, they have a game plan. They're pick and rolling. They're working the ball inside. U.S. doesn't do any of that stuff. We're shooting. Durant's shooting 3-pointers the whole game. I mean, doesn't even work the ball inside. He's 7 feet tall. Unbelievable. Just checking any other news that's going on. You guys can ask me questions if you guys want to come on the air. It's askmfsn.com. You can come on and be on video with me, which is great. And then now I'm going to go to our YouTube page right now, and I'm going to get the questions that people are asking me right now on YouTube. I'm going to right now. How about that? So hold on. Here I go. I'm going to my first question. Some Dr. Casey Scheinfold, unbelievable therapist. He's in Pennsylvania. He's one of the best. Hold on. I'm going to. Okay, so the Bengals will be an exciting team to watch this year. Who would you target as the second wide receiver, Higgins or Boyd? I noticed he didn't say Chase. Mixon, top 10 running back potential. Okay, so the Bengals are a 3-headed dragon. They have Joe Burrow. Before he got hurt, was doing unbelievable. He was a rookie last year. Hurt his knee. Now he's back, 100% back. He won't play in the preseason. So if you're worried about Joe Burrow playing preseason, the Bengals are not going to let him play. And that's a great move by them. I wouldn't have him play either. God forbid he moves on the knee wrong or some idiot hits him. Great move. So they have Boyd, Higgins, and Chase as wide receivers. It's a 3-headed dragon. I love Chase. Him and Burrow played together at LSU. They're going to be great together. He's a rookie, so you got to think about that. But I don't think it matters. I think he'll have a good year. Boyd has been solid as a fantasy player, and T. Higgins, the same thing. I don't know. I mean, just take a coin and flip it. That's what I would do. Just take a coin and flip it with those 3 receivers. I mean, I think every week there's going to be a different guy out of those three that's going to have more yards. I don't think I'll have a favorite target. All three of those guys are potentially all pros. I mean, they're all like under 25. They're all great receivers. And Joe Mixon, he was hurt last year. He only played like 3 or 4 games. He's back, and they got rid of Bernard, the Bengals, who's their backup. They got rid of. They didn't really sign anybody else. They have a rookie they drafted. They're sold on Mixon, and Mixon should be a beast this year. The Bengals' offensive line, they're protecting Burrow. They invested some money. They're for real. The Bengals are going to be good, but you got to worry. The team you got to worry about is Cleveland. Cleveland made the playoffs. They have a great offensive line. I think they have the best offensive line in the league. Their defense is solid. Odell Beckham is back. As much as you guys think he's like washed up, he's not. He's still like a top receiver. And their running game with Hunt and Chubb are probably the best in the league. Those two tandems. Tell me a better one. Text me right now. I dare you. So in Baltimore's good. Pittsburgh is always good. That division is like, I think it's the toughest in football. I really do. I mean, Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, he was playing, I don't know if you guys remember, he started out slow. Then he just became crazy, and he was like one of the best fantasy quarterbacks like the last 4 games. And Pittsburgh, they're aging. Their defense is aging. They're always pretty good. I love their coach. I think Ben's getting older. Connor's not there anymore. They drafted that rookie. We'll see how he does. But I think that division alone is the best in football. But to answer your question, Case, I think Mixon would be a top 10 running back. I say yes. And I think with the receivers, with all 3 of those guys, it's just a guessing game. I wish I could tell you like who I really love, but they're all great. They're all good. They're all potentially all pros. With the injury to Cam Akers, is Darrell Henderson now the running back 1? Do you think there'll be somebody else to share the carries? This is a great question. I was thinking about this, and I think the Rams are going to sign a free agent. How about Todd Gurley? He had some great years as a Ram. He's a free agent. He's not that old. He played pretty well in Atlanta last year. The Rams are going to sign a running back. It could be Bell. It could be Gurley, like I mentioned. Adrian Peterson has not retired. He's still out there. He's old though, but I still love him. I say Todd Gurley comes in and will be a LA Ram to start the season, and he'll share the handoffs with Henderson, who's their backup. But there's no way they're not going to sign another running back. I mean, Henderson is good, and I know he's going up in fantasy drafts, and ever since Cam Akers went down. But I do not believe that you won't see another running back in LA. I mean, they love Stafford's going to be a great year. I mean, he has Woods and he's Coop. I mean, he has a great receiving core, and I feel the Rams and their defense is good too. They have the best defensive player, one of the best, in Aaron Donald. He's unbelievable. I mean, you can't stop him. He's great. So the Rams, my answer is Henderson. He'll have a good year. He's not going to be there. I'm telling you, they're going to sign somebody. If you're drafting, what I did a draft earlier this week. I got Todd Gurley as my last pick, and I kind of stashed him. And I suggest you guys do the same thing with Gurley. I think he's like one of these like sneak picks that you can grab really late, and he can have a great year. And he's healthy. It's not like he's hurt. I mean, he's ready to roll. Next question: what do you think about Baker Mayfield this year and beyond? Baker last year proved me that he's the real thing. I mean, I think Cleveland's a legitimate pick for the Super Bowl. I think the AFC's tough. I know that. But I feel that Kansas City's tough in the AFC. We all know how good they are. I mean, wow. And we know Baltimore is really, really good. And even Tennessee. I mean, they added Jones. I mean, they have a lot of weapons on that team. Derrick Henry. They have Tannehill. I mean, they have a great, great team, and their defense is pretty good. So the AFC's tough. I think Cleveland can make that run. I won't be surprised if they go to the Super Bowl. How about that? But I like them a lot. Which surprise running back do you think could crack the top 3? That's a great question. So top three running back. Let me just tell you my running backs in fantasy. My top three. Number one, just because he gets a lot of receptions. So if he's healthy, Christian McCaffrey, I call him CMC. He's the number one draft pick in fantasy football. He's on my list as number one because he'll have 1,000 yards rushing and have 1,000 yards receiving, 100 receptions, and he's just a beast when he's healthy. He wasn't healthy last year. The year before he was Casey Scheinfold. So Christian's number one. Number two, Derrick Henry. He had 2,000 yards last year. He's not a third down back. That's the thing. He's not in there on third down. They bring in somebody else. So Derrick Henry won't get the receptions. He'll have like 20, 30 receptions this year. But it doesn't matter. He has 2,000 yards rushing. So there you go. And number three is Devin Cook of Minnesota. I mean, I love Devin Cook. Again, he goes down every year. He gets hurt. In Minnesota, their line isn't as strong as everybody thinks it is. They lost a couple guys. They do have a good offensive team. They lost a few guys. Rudolph's not there anymore. Randolph, what do we say his name? The tight end, he's gone. But they have Adam Thielen, and they have Jefferson. I mean, they have some really good receivers. Cook is great. So he's number three. I mean, and then after that, I love Chubb. I love him a lot. I feel he'll have a good year. Joe Mixon, as we talked about before, should have a good year. A guy that could make the top three, and you heard from me first, is Antonio Gibson of the team of Washington. He was hurt, a little banged up last year. Washington's line is not good. They're great. And Washington's defense is probably one of the best in the league, very underrated. So I hope you're writing all this information down. I've done a lot of research. And I think the team of Washington will surprise some people this year. I think they can win that division. We'll see what happens. Dallas is going to be tough with Dak Prescott healthy. We'll see what happens. But that all being said, to answer your question, I feel Antonio Gibson is my dark horse for running backs this year. So make sure if you're drafting in fantasy football, if you can get Antonio Gibson in the second or third round, it's not a bad pick. Where should we value Chase Claypool this year? Chase Claypool plays for Pittsburgh. Last year he had one game he had 3 touchdowns. Then he had games where he only had 30, 40 yards receiving. So Chase is not consistent enough for me to draft him early. He's more of a later guy. Went to Notre Dame, big kid, fast. I like him. If you can get him late in the rounds, I like him. I don't know if he would start every week for me. It just matters who the matchup is. But I like him. I don't love him. There's better wide receivers. But if you have a chance to draft him in the 8th or 9th round, it's not a bad idea. Why should we believe Christian McCaffrey, will stay healthy this year? That's a great question. He's only been hurt 1 year. It's not like he's hurt every year. I can name some more running backs that always have issues every year, Devin Cook, but we'll see what happens this year. He's the golden boy. He really is. His dad played in the NFL. He went to Stanford. This guy is the real deal. And in Carolina, they have a new quarterback now, but they have a lot of talent there. They have a lot of great receivers. They have it's not like a bad team. They have a good offensive line too. They protect. So I feel McCaffrey hopefully won't get her. You can't predict this stuff. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But he's still my number one pick. With Aaron Rodgers back, is Davante Adams automatically the top wide receiver? Where does Aaron Jones rank at running back now? So Davante Adams, he's not the top receiver. My number one receiver, I would say, is probably the guy for Kansas City, Mr. Hill, for sure. He's the number one receiver. Davante's a top 5 receiver. I like Brown for Tennessee. I like Metcalf for Seattle. There's a lot of guys in there, but Davante's definitely up there. I like Davante a lot. He's definitely top 5, maybe even top 3. Aaron Jones, he's not a top 10 running back. I like Aaron Jones a lot. I think there's 10 other running backs that are better. I have him 11, 12. But I do like Aaron Jones, and I feel that Green Bay, is a team that's going to score a lot of points. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had 50 touchdown passes last year. That's a lot. It's more than me. He'll be back. Don't worry. Aaron Rodgers will have another great year. Could be MVP again. Who knows? But yes, Devontae would be good. How many other Bengal question? I already answered that. How good was David Montgomery for the Bears? Excuse me. Something in my throat. So David Montgomery, running back for the Bears, and the Bears love to run the ball. The first 10 games, he was below par. I mean, I think I cut him. If I remember right, I think I waved him for somebody. I can't remember. But then week 10 or 11, I got to look it up. He started running and catching the ball, and there was no Tank Cohen either. So he was in the backfield by himself with no help. But he had a great second half of the season. I feel he's a top 20 running back. Maybe between 15 and 20 I haven't placed in my whole cheat sheet. But I feel that he will have he'll have a good year, but I want to draft him until the 7th, 8th, 9th round. So save your draft picks. Which rookie wide receiver will pick up the best stats? Whew. I would say if I had to pick one, I would say Chase for the Bengals. I know we talked about him. I don't want to go into it. I just feel he'll have a huge year. I don't know if you guys saw his highlights. I also like the kid that was drafted by the Miami Dolphins, Tuggle from Alabama. He's unbelievable too. I mean, he was hurt last year. He didn't play much, but when he's healthy, he can fly. But I think LeVar Chase for the Bengals. I think he'll be big. There are some good wide receivers though that were drafted, but we'll see what happens. But if you're drafting fantasy wise, there are some good ones out there. So just be aware of it. Do you like PPR leads? That's points after receptions. Why not? I don't mind them as much. It's a whole different, when you draft, you got to look at those stats, receiving yards. It's a whole different mindset compared to just your standard league. But I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's I've been getting involved in more is Superflex leagues. Superflex is when you can draft two quarterbacks and start them at Superflex, or you can start a running back or a wide receiver. But quarterbacks, of course, are money every week, so you want to start two quarterbacks. So it's always fun if it's a 10-person league. If it's even 12, is kind of pushing it. But I mean, it's kind of fun to start two quarterbacks. I don't know. It's just something that it's getting bigger and bigger every year, and now it's. I don't know what the percentage is, but I know a lot of leagues that I see have a super flex, which means you can start another quarterback. But I enjoy that. Yes. What characteristics make for best commissioners? I think a commissioner that has a strong, an iron fist. You know what I mean? An iron fist that's not afraid to answer questions, veto trades if it's not fair. If you see some collusion going on, you call them on it. And, you set the rules straight. And usually there's not much controversy in leagues. There's always one guy that causes problems, and you just got to set that guy straight. And kind of if he has a question or accuses something, you just got to attack it. You don't let anything down. You're like a hawk. But I think a commissioner, is somebody that makes people enjoy the league. It's for fun. Remember, fantasy football is for fun, even though there's a few bucks involved, doesn't matter. But I enjoy fantasy football. I actually did a draft today. Yahoo has this draft thing. For some reason, I had some money in my account, so I did a $10 league where you draft. You draft your team. There's no transactions. There's no pickups. There's no trades. You're locked with your roster. You get nine bench players, and it's basically you make money each week for the highest score, and you also first, second, and third make money. But it's basically that's the type of league it is. It's you're just locked, and there's no like trades, transactions, waiver wire pickups, nothing. And it's locked with this team. It's kind of fun. I don't know if you're a Yahoo subscriber, check it out. You can play for free too. You don't have to play for money. I just did it because I had money in my account. But it's pretty cool. You guys will like it. Okay. Is Elliott, the running back for the Cowboys, underrated this year? I agree with you on that. I feel he's underrated. If he plays this year and he's healthy, he's going to be a top 5, top 7 running back in the league. And, when you draft Elliott, you got to draft Pollard. So just repeat after me. I draft Elliott. I draft Pollard. You got to have the backup. But I feel Elliott's going to have a good year. Dak Prescott is back. They can't play 7 people in the box anymore like they were doing when Elliott was playing last year because they had some quarterback I never heard of. I've got his name. We just talked about it last week. But it doesn't matter. Ben something. But that all being said, I think Elliott's going to have a good year. And he's only 25 years old. He's not like this old guy. I mean, he's been in the league for so long. Everybody thinks he's an old man. He was hurt last year. He'll be back. But Dallas's line isn't like the best line anymore. They're good. But Dak Prescott is back. He'll have a big year. I like Dallas a lot. I think they'll be improved a lot. And they're on Hard Knocks this year on HBO. It premieres August 10th, which I don't know if you guys watch Hard Knocks, but that's a great show. If you like football, you watch Hard Knocks because they have cameras like everywhere. And Jerry Jones is the owner. He loves the cameras, so he'll be involved. And Dak Prescott's fun. Elliott's fun. It's going to be a fun, great show with the Cowboys. I'm excited. And the Cowboys are in Oxnard, which is about an hour away from my house. I'm here in L.A., which I'll actually will be excited to go and watch. And I'll see probably the HBO crew there filming. Let's take more questions. Which QB do you expect to regress this year? So that's a good question. If I had to say one, Matt Ryan of Atlanta. I just feel he's getting older. There's no Jones isn't there anymore. He's in Tennessee. As I said, I just feel that Ryan, and they have Mike Davis, who's their running back, good backup, average starter. Mike Davis, even though he played pretty well for Carolina last year, I don't want to hear but he's not somebody who's going to win you a championship in fantasy. But he's a pretty good backup. If I had him on my roster as a backup, that I'll be happy. But again, I think Matt Ryan, he's just getting older. He has 1 year left in his contract. I don't see him having a great year, even though they have Ridley, who's going to be their number 1 receiver this year. But again, Matt Ryan. Okay, enough said. And Dax Mark, enough questions from Dr. Dan. Where's Marty? I don't know what that means. Will we see Trey Lance on the field this year? I love Trey Lance, and he's another secret guy that I want to pick up late. Yes, on Trey Lance, we'll see him as soon as the 49ers start losing. They have a good team. I don't know how many losses they'll have, but they'll have an unbelievable team. But Trey Lance can run, can throw. The kid's a winner. I mean, I love this kid a lot. Again, he's not going to start the season, but you'll be able to draft him late. So listen to me. Draft him late, like Todd Gurley, I said, and just stash him. Because when he plays, he's going to open that offense up. Ayuk's going to go ballistic. I mean, they'll have an unbelievable team with him. I like Trey Lance a lot. Yes. Even though he went to a small school and people say he didn't start enough games in college. I know all the negative. Doesn't matter. I've seen this kid play. I've seen him run the 40. I've seen him bench press. Strong, fast, everything you want out of a quarterback. But I do like him a lot. That's a great one. Let's hold on. More questions. Uh-oh. How big is your bat? What kind of question is that? Where's my bat? I have a bat somewhere. Oh, here it is. This is pretty big. This is a Andre Dawson signed bat. If you look at it closely, it's signed by Andre. Actually, it's actually he. I don't know if he used this in the game or not, but he signed it, and I think it's I don't know how many ounces. I think it's 30 ounce, 32 ounce. It's a nice Louisville Slugger though, if you can see. Stupid question though, but I answered it. Dax Mark asked me questions, my brother. What do you think happens the next time Javier Baez faces Amir Garrett? So last night in the Reds game, the Reds were winning 5-3, and then they lost the game in the ninth, bottom of the ninth. Amir Garrett comes in, who's just I don't know why this guy's still with the Reds. I don't know why he's still in Major League Baseball. He blows more games than it's like putting gas on a fire with this guy. Every time he comes in, it's like all the bats explode. It's unbelievable. So comes in, Baez comes off the bench to pitch hit. All the Cubs need is a fly ball to the outfield. He hits the fly ball. He's as he runs because the ball wasn't caught because they're playing shallow. He's like showboating with the bat. He's pretending it's a canoe. I mean, he's doing all this showboating stuff and just making fun of Garrett the whole time, staring at him. So the Cubs and Reds play today. Unless they suspend Baez, which I haven't heard they did yet, I guarantee there'll be a bench brawl on the Reds game tonight against the Cubs because, first of all, these teams hate each other. Hate each other. And both teams are kind of failing right now. The Brewers are destroying that division. It's unbelievable. But Garrett, as much as he's I don't know why he comes in key situations. He should be coming in when they're down 20-0 or something. It just doesn't make any sense. It's time to bring in some younger players. Another question, when has Hunter Green been getting moved up? Hunter Green was the Reds' first draft pick, number 2 pick overall 3 years ago, I believe. And he went to high school here in Los Angeles, Notre Dame High School. In high school, he was throwing 100 miles an hour, maybe even more. He played shortstop, great hitter, unbelievable. The Reds drafted him. He had Tommy John surgery last year. This year, he made a couple appearances in spring training in the major league level. Wasn't that great, but he still throws the ball. They had him timed at 104 miles an hour. 104 miles an hour. So his first game in Louisville, they moved him up to Louisville because he was pitching so well in Double-A. Move him up to Louisville, make it a little quicker. First game, he gave up 3 home runs in the first inning. Okay, horrible game, but we all have bad games. Comes back the next game, pitched like 7 innings, no runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Been pitching great ever since in AAA at Louisville. He's just been on a tear. The Reds don't want to bring him up till September because if you do, then it counts towards his major league occupancy. Like you can only play X amount of years in major league, and then they have to redo your contract. So long story short, the Reds are so cheap that they want to keep him down until September. They'll bring him up in September to answer your question, which they should bring him up and put him in the bullpen. I mean, it's just stupidity. He throws 104 miles an hour, 104. I mean, and he has a changeup. He has a curveball. I mean, I don't know how you hit him. Just bring him up. All these other teams bring up 19, 20-year-olds. Bring up this kid. I think he's 21 now. Bring him up. He can pitch. Let's see if there's any other questions that I missed. I think I answered most of them. Hold on. Well, there's no more questions. So, let's see what time it is. We have about 15 minutes left. I want to talk about fantasy football. Don't be afraid to ask me questions on the YouTube page. So, I want to talk to you about each position and where I rank them. Because football's coming up. People are asking me left and right, who should I draft? What do you have this person? What do you think of that person? I'll give you my opinion. I'll give you my ranking system right now. It's going to help you in the draft coming up. So here we go. So in running back, McCaffrey, I said, is 1. Cook is 2. Henry is 3. Kamar is 4. I like 5. I like Jonathan Taylor. Let's talk about Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor plays for the Colts, and he doesn't get any. No one knows who this guy is. I mean, he went to Wisconsin. He broke every record up there. He is going to have a great season. I mean, he has Carson Wentz as his quarterback. He has Pittman Jr. as one of his receivers who's going to have a good year. Remember that name, Pittman, for the Colts. He will be huge this year. If you can draft him, 7th, 8th round, pick him up. Heard it from me first. Carson Wentz should be fine. I don't think he'll be like unbelievable, but I think he'll be better than he was doing for the Eagles. The Eagles last year, just so you remember about the Eagles, is that they had a horrible offensive line. They had 25 different players playing different positions throughout the year on that offensive line. That's how hurt they were. They got hurt. It was crazy. And they couldn't protect the quarterback. And finally Wentz went down or lost his job. I can't remember. And Hurts came in. Hurts is a mobile guy. He can run around. He's fast. And this guy can throw and run. He's like, he's like a Lamar Jackson. Fast, smart, great arm. And he actually did better without having a great offensive line just because of mobility. But I think Carson Wentz for the Colts have a good offensive line. And Jonathan Taylor is somebody, if you can draft him late in the first round, do it. Draft him now. I think he'll be really, really good. I feel that Jonathan Taylor is somebody that people, if you're not like in fantasy football and don't follow that, you have no idea who he is, and I get it. Saquon Barkley, let's talk about him. Hurt last year. Workhorse. They already said he's not going to be like playing week 1. Like they already said they don't expect him to play. He could, but they don't expect him to play. They put so much weight on his shoulders in New York because he can catch, he runs. They want him to they want him to touch the ball like 30 times a game, either throwing or rushing. I don't think he's going to have a great year. I mean, I'm worried about him. The Giants line is not that great. Daniel Jones makes horrible decisions. Horrible. Just not the smartest quarterback. Physically, he's fast. I like Daniel Jones as a quarterback, but just not mentally. He just makes dumb mistakes. So Saquon Barkley, I moved him down. I know people like him, but that's my own opinion. Kamara of the Saints without Breeze there. Winston's going to be the quarterback. Okay. It's not going to be the other guy. There's no way. Winston's going to be the starting quarterback. He'll have a good year, even though Michael Thomas is out at least till week 8. So don't draft him. Don't even pick him. Don't even draft him. You don't want him on your team. If no one drafts him and he's available in the IL spot, put him there, I guess. But don't even pick him up. It's just, who knows if he's going to play this year. So Kamari has a lot of weight on his shoulders. So he should have a good year. He's very fast. He's very good. He catches the ball. He'll probably have 60, 70 receptions. He's in my top 10 for sure. Elliott's in my top 10. Chubb's in my top 10. G. Harris he's the rookie from Pittsburgh. Close. Pittsburgh loves the run game. Connor's not there anymore. He's in Arizona. I like him a lot. G. Harris. Where do I draft him? If I can get him in the 3rd round, I would take him. Because, again, running backs go quickly in any good draft. I mean, unless you're playing with a bunch of, horrible players that take quarterbacks first or something, which is horrible. Big mistake. Don't take quarterbacks first. Wait a little bit on quarterbacks. There'll be a lot of – unless it's super flex. Then you take quarterbacks quick. But that being said, Najee Harris I like a lot. Chubb. Antonio Gibson's my big dark horse. DeAndre Swift of the Lions I like. I'm just naming players I like. Just mark this down. I don't like Josh Jacobs. I like Miles Sanders. I think he'll have a big year. He plays for the Eagles. Again, the Eagles line was horrible last year. Miles Sanders was hurt last year. They had to go with Boston. They're back. It was horrible. So that all being said, I gave you some great running backs. Please mark them down. Let's talk wide receivers real quick. Number 1 receiver, Tyreek Hill. No question. Fastest guy
probably one of the fastest in the league. Can't guard him. Stephon Diggs, love him. Buffalo, he'll have a big year. Can catch anything. Number two, Devontae Adams. Can't go wrong there. He's solid. He'll have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns most of the season. He's great. DeAndre Hopkins, that's a great topic. Not a really topic, but I want to talk about it. He may not play because he doesn't want to get vaccinated. He already told his teammates he doesn't want to risk his teammates getting sick or fined or hurt or disqualified or forfeited because of him. So he might sit the year out. He's not getting vaccinated. He's not, unless something happens. But he's been very stern about not getting vaccinated. So DeAndre Hopkins, I took him off my draft list. I suggest you do it. I don't. It's too much controversy going on. Even though I love him as a receiver, if he plays, of course, top 10. AJ Brown, yes. DK Metcalf, yes. Justin Jefferson, I love. Calvin Ridley, he's wavering up there. I mean, they expect such big things from him. We'll see what happens. Um, and then I love Keenan Allen. I think Mike Evans is always good. CeeDee Lamb is somebody, he's my big dark horse. CeeDee Lamb for the Dallas Cowboys, I feel will be the number one receiver over Cooper. You heard it from me first, Ross the Boss. If you get CeeDee Lamb 6th round, even 5th round, get CeeDee Lamb. Trust me on that. I love that kid. And then, of course, I mentioned all three Bengals receivers, Chase, Higgins, and Chase and Higgins. I like those two guys. Also, and Boyd. I also love Brandon Ayuk, Arizona State alumnus for the 49ers. I think he'll have a huge year. Brandon Ayuk's another good dark horse. You got some great tips. Great tips. So those are my wide receivers. I love talking fantasy football, as you guys know. In tight ends, there's only like one tight end who's like a first rounder. If you can get this guy late in the first round, I think it's worth it. I think he just changes your whole team because he's points every week. He's on a different level than any other tight end. And I know people don't agree with me, but Travis Kelce, I know he's 31. I know he's older, blah, blah, blah. He crosses that middle and Mahomes sees him. He pops, he hits him right on the money every time. So for me, I love Kelce. If I can draft him in the first round late, I will. Darren Waller Darren Waller. He'll have 1,000 yards. He'll have 10 touchdowns for the Las Vegas Raiders. Big year. If you can get Waller in the 5th round, let's say, or even the 4th round, I would do it. He makes a difference maker. George Kittle, worried about his health. The past couple of years, he's been hurt. I feel when he's healthy, he's a top 2, top 3 tight end. I would still draft him, but I wouldn't draft him that early. If you can get him late, like in the 4th round or 5th round, yes. And then Mark Andrews, the rookie Kyle Pitts, who plays for Atlanta. A lot of hype. Rookie tight ends don't do that well the first year, but this kid could be an exception. There hasn't been such hype on a tight end, since O.J. Howard from Alabama. But he didn't have a great year his first year. It wasn't extraordinary. But Kyle Pitts, freak of nature. Tyler Higbee of the Rams. Stafford loves to throw to the tight end. Higbee is their only tight end. Everett is in Seattle now. They were sharing time last year. Higbee will be on the field a lot. So that being said, Higbee could be a good dark horse guy if you're looking for a tight end. I like him a lot. Dallas Goedert of the Eagles, he is their starting tight end. Zach Ertz is still there, but he's not. I don't think he'll be playing that much unless they go to the double tight end. We'll see what happens. But Zach Ertz, he's been showing up to camp, keeps his mouth quiet. They've been dangling him for trades. I thought he'd be traded by now, but he's still there. I think his wife is on the Olympic soccer team, right? She's the goalie. So I don't draft Zach Ertz, draft Dallas. But long story short, I like him a lot. I think he'll have a good year. Robert Tanyan, Rogers is back. He loves Tanyan, so you could pick him late in the rounds. He's another good pick. Mark Andrews, I like a lot of Baltimore. Lamar Jackson loves throwing to him. I like him a lot. I don't like Logan Thomas this year. He just signed a big deal today, but I just feel that their offense with Fitzgerald will be a little different. I don't think he'll throw the tight end that much. And dark horse, Blake Jarwin, Dallas Cowboys. Supposed to be the starter last year, got hurt. I feel that he will be playing a lot, and I feel that he'll be getting the ball a lot. So those are my tight ends. Let's see how much time I have. Ooh, I have. I think we're almost done. Those are my tight ends. I think. Let me just do one more, and we'll call it a show. I think I went over, but oh well. Let's talk about team defense real quick. My number one defense this year, I love Tampa Bay. I love the Rams. I love the Ravens. I love the Saints. The Washington football team, I think it's a great defense also. And Miami, I love a lot too. I'm talking kickers. There's like 20 great kickers. Don't worry about kickers. But I'm Ross the Boss. I love talking sports with you. I'll be back in a couple weeks. And that's the show today. Thanks for watching. And thanks for watching.
In Gilcliff, the undisputed clean energy drink of America and beyond, we've packed in more B vitamins, electrolytes, and killer taste than ever. And as a bonus, we've made the ultimate loyalty program. It's not a Coke, it's not a club, it's the Gilcliff Coke Club. Tap into special offers like flash sales and exclusive merch, deep discounts, and eternal awesomeness. Go to Gilcliff.com to get your discounts on.